All right, so you're getting started. You've watched the introduction to the program to understand the flow of things and what to expect. You went through the disclaimers. You got to know some of the misconceptions that are out there, and you took your health screening quiz. And hopefully that started to make you think and got a few maybe aha moments. Maybe today, this one, you'll get some aha moments. If you haven't done those last videos, please go back, watch them. There's some important information that I need you to know. And as we progress, you'll see why everything kind of builds one on top of the other. What I'm going to talk about now is the different dysfunctions. They have, some of them have fancy names, and I'm going to, say them, but describe them as well as I can. I'm also going to talk about imbalances that could be either caused by pelvic floor issues or cause the pelvic floor issues or pelvic issues. So it could be a vice versa. Which one is it, the chicken or the egg kind of thing? Now, some of these explanations and descriptions might help you. I'm hoping it's going to empower you so that when you have your conversations with your gynecologist or your GP or any of the professionals that you might meet along the way, you'll have a richer conversation with them. You will have more information and you'll be able to go, oh, it's not just me. I can say this, I can verbalize this because there is a syndrome or a dysfunction or a name to what I'm experiencing. So it's not all in your head. It is in your body. It could be in your head too. We're going to talk about that later. But really, you're allowed to talk about this and explain it and get some relief and help. A lot of these things that I'm going to describe, this video is not going to help you per se, but it's going to give you the information to go seek out the right help or do the right things. This video is going to do, this whole program is going to do a lot for you. But you know what? Again, I can't diagnose. You can't self-diagnose either. This is good as educational information and it'll help you out. So let's get past all that kind of information, go on to some of the dysfunctions that can be described and explained and maybe get some, again, the ahas are important. Well, the first thing is most you might be dealing with, the pretty obvious, is the incontinence. And I'm going to talk about the different types of incontinences, because there's not just one throughout the program. And there's prolapses. I don't know if you've ever heard that word, but a prolapse is when one or a few of your organs are taking up the space in your vagina, which makes that kind of stick out. So things are kind of coming down for different reasons. And I'm going to also describe that really well throughout the video, the program. Interstitial cystitis. Big fancy word. I kind of call it the fake urinary tract infection. You know when you have, or you think you have a urinary tract infection and you go see your doctor and they're like, your results are negative. It's not what you have. Well, this is what it's called. And I'm going to explain a few of the things that might be the reason why you have that later on. But it's pain or burning with a full or filling bladder or with emptying of your bladder. So that's interstitial cystitis. Use that for some board game or something where you get more points for each letter, right? Dysmenorrhea, I think as women, we kind of all know that one. It's menstrual pain, cramps that occur before, during, or slightly after menstruation, right? We know that one. Could be related to some pelvic floor stuff and vice versa. All right, the next 6 ones have to do with sex. Yay! But not yay, because it's the not so fun part of sex. It's the pain that makes you kind of go, I don't want to do nothing. I don't want any sex, and which is too bad. I mean, intimacy is kind of important, and I hope you're able to have it and have some great sensations. But here's a list of things that might make you kind of go, yeah, I don't want sex because of it. So, dyspareunia. And if I missay these and I say it with a funny accent, forgive me, right? So it's difficulty or pain during intercourse. So anything, intercourse, whether it's upon penetration, thrust, or even during orgasm. There you go. Don't want that, right? Vaginismus. Oh, there's something pretty special. And you're going to be able to hear from somebody who is actually living with this. And her story is heartbreaking and empowering at the same time. Her name is Victoria Johnson. She has written a book about what she's been living with, her and her fiance. It's a very painful condition where penetration is basically impossible. And I'll let Victoria do all the description on what that is. So stay tuned for that one. There's vulvodynia. I'm reading this so I don't forget anything. Chronic pain at the vulva. Okay, know your anatomy. That is not inside, that's on the outside. All right, another one, vestibulodynia. Aha, refers to pain at the entrance of the vagina, I guess the vestibule, anyways, you got it, at the entrance. Then there's perineal pain. I talked about the perineal muscles. Well, those muscles are in pain. And of course, another thing that you are going to encounter if you've got any kind of pelvic floor issues, it could be a complete decrease of libido. Not good, not good, not good, not good. I remember many years ago Googling, is there any kind of Viagra for women? Because it's gone. I have no mojo, no interest. I was just constantly in pain. Why would I be interested? And I was exhausted and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, once you solve everything, mojo comes back. It's awesome. And we'll hear from sex coach Tracy Wilson about that. The next two are nerve pain. You can have pudendal nerve pain and sciatica nerve pain. And those are two nerves that are very much involved in the pelvic region. And if they are really upset, if they're pinched, if they're bullied, if they're pushed, they're going to create some pain throughout predominantly your lower body. So those are things that if you've got pain down in your leg, you got pain in your butt, nerve down into the feet, talk to your doctor. There's some stuff you can do. And I am going to talk about things that can help relieve that. Absolutely. So you might know these two, endometriosis and fibroids. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Endometriosis is just all these fibers that are this tissue that is interweaving and creating scarring outside the uterus. And the only way to get rid, and it's so painful. I've never had it, but everything I've seen about it sounds incredibly painful. And the only way that I've seen in the literature and seen in all the information I've seen is that you have to have it surgically removed. And that's the only way that you can get rid of that kind of pain. So nothing I can do for you with this, but what I just said is you go see a doctor, find the best out there that'll be able to remove it. And fibroids. Masses that grow either on or in your uterus and elsewhere along your body, but I'm talking pelvis, right? Fibroids are like hard plexiglass. They're not fun. I've got some major alien babies inside of me. I call them my alien babies because they've been living with me for a while. They can cause some severe bleeding, and in my case it's not severe bleeding, it's just a lot of heaviness on my uterus, on my bladder and my rectum, and just causing havoc. So fibroids, you can choose to have hysterectomy and have everything removed, but it doesn't guarantee that all the pain that you had other than maybe the fibroid that might not go away. I know a lot of people who've decided to do the surgery and went, I'd never change a thing, perfect solution. And other people, it's, well, I did the surgery and I still have the same problem. Well, because the root has not been discovered and there's so many other things that need to be done. So quite a tough decision on that one, but know that fibroids exist. Okay, this is awesome information. There was a study done at McMaster University in 2016 by pelvic floor physiotherapists, some PhDs, amazing people. And they did a study where 100 women were selected, and all they presented with, all they had as a problem was low back pain, persistent low back pain. Sound familiar? Do you have low back pain? This, annoying back pain that you've tried massage therapy, chiropractic, you've tried every voodoo thing possible, right? Well, listen to this. The 100 women that presented, 96% were determined to have pelvic floor dysfunction. Okay, I love this study. 84% had tenderness upon palpation. That means you touched there and they went, ow, right? 67% were found to have pelvic floor weakness. Now, weakness, okay, you can have muscles that don't contract strongly, and the weakness can also be because they are hypertonic. They are too overworked and don't know how to relax to contract. 67% had a problem. And another little tidbit, 33%, less than 33% had a prolapse. So the prolapse wasn't the main issue, but holy smokes, I love this research. Oh, it was low back pain and hip pain as well is related. So when I talk about it's a whole body program, it's a whole body and mind, I am not kidding. There are so many things that the pelvic floor can affect and so many things that can affect the pelvic floor. Which is it? Chicken or egg? More studies need to be done, but how empowering is this? So let's go after the problems, with the pelvic floor to get rid of your back pain or vice versa. All right, there's piriformis syndrome. I talked about it during the anatomy class. Or, you haven't seen the anatomy class yet. You're going to see the muscles that might be the culprit for piriformis syndrome. And if you've never heard about piriformis syndrome, it's a pain in the butt, right? Your butt hurts in one little spot. And it might not be the piriformis muscle. Stay tuned for the anatomy course for that. Coccydynia is pain at the tailbone. So the muscles around your tailbone, and you're going to learn all that in the anatomy too. So pay attention on that one. There is symphysis pubis dysfunction. You will see the symphysis pubis in the anatomy again. You will see where that is. And I'm going to teach you a whole lot of things that you're going to be able to do to diminish that dysfunction. You can have pain sitting. Pain because of your pelvic floor. Not your back, your pelvic floor. Okay. Other things. There's so many. Isn't it incredible? Aren't you kind of going, what? Really? I did. Maybe that's just me. All right. So I mentioned low back pain, hip pain, groin pain. Okay. This one, incredible. Headaches and migraines. Related. Katerina Gutsa will talk about our diaphragms, and I'm going to get into the details of diaphragms. And diaphragms are horizontal muscles, right? And you've got a few in your body. You've got your diaphragm, which is a diaphragm for breathing. You've got your pelvic floor diaphragm. You've got a cervical and a cranial. And also say you've got under your feet too as diaphragms. If they're not working well because of stress, or they'll influence each other. So if your breathing diaphragm's not doing well, your pelvic floor is not doing well. If your pelvic floor is not doing well, guess what? All the other diaphragms are not doing well. Wow, it's not that simple, isn't it? You can also be struggling with shoulder pain that you like in the neck in here. I say shoulder because most people kind of go, yeah, my shoulders. Well, your traps, all the muscles in here. Okay, that could be a problem. Jaw pain. Jaw pain could be sending down some signals, which is messing up your pelvic floor, or vice versa. It just blows my mind, all this stuff. All right, chronic constipation. We're going to talk a lot about poop. We're going to talk dirty in this class, I'll tell you. Irritable bowel syndrome. You've heard of that. Hopefully you're not dealing with it, but if you are, hey, some of this stuff is going to solve that problem. Poor breathing patterns. If you are stressed and you're not breathing well, again, the diaphragm's not working well. Another tidbit, I want to make sure I say it. I might say it a bunch of times. This also blew my mind when I heard it. The first muscle to react in your body when you're under stress, whether it is real or perceived, are your pelvic floor muscles. It's a protective mechanism. Well, yeah, as females, yeah, we want to protect there. So if you're stressed, real or perceived, self-imposed or not, your pelvic floor is suffering, is straining. Your diaphragm is straining. Holy smokes. We're gonna take those onion peels and we are going to get rid of all the stuff that is causing your problems. I'll tell you. There's another thing, rectus diastases, or diastases recti. Some people say it different ways. And it is a problem with your core, with the fascia that is at the front. And I'll describe it really well in the final modules of this program, where it's a pulling apart of your abdominal wall. And you see that very often if, when you're pregnant, after you've given birth, there's that, kind of hole in the belly, the space, and there's a pooching. And I say, with pregnancy and after birth, but I know women who've never, ever, ever had a baby who have that issue. So it is another thing. Let's take a breath. That's a lot of stuff. Now, hopefully you were able to go, yep, okay, I'm dealing with that. Okay, there's hope. I hear you. Or, wow, you haven't described anything I have. Hopefully that's not the case. But yeah, just know you can take your information to your doctor and go, I need some help. But you know what? You might not have to, because watch the rest of the videos and you will be able to solve many of your issues on your own. That's empowering. Plus with the help of some of the professionals that I'm suggesting. So enjoy Victoria Johnson and her talk about vaginismus. It is totally worth it, especially if you do have pain during intercourse, or pain putting in tampons or anything like that. All right, enjoy. And actually, you know what? Let me know how it's going. Connect with me.